In this video, you're going to be creating a stitched jeans text effect. As you can see, this is the final result. I'll show a really cool way to create these stitches using a custom brush. So let's dive right into the lesson. First, start by importing the background image. We're going to be using the denim texture for this tutorial. There needs to be some text to begin with, so type in denim or any other word that you would like. I'm using a font called Freshman, but you can use any font you'd like also. Just make sure to choose a big, bold font to prevent overlapping when we add the stitches later on. Center the text by selecting both the background and the text layer. With the Move tool selected, click on the Align Horizontal and Vertical Centers icon. Now you need to add the texture to the text you just created. To do that, duplicate the background by holding Alt or Option, then click and drag a copy of the texture above the text layer. Next, hold Alt or Option again and click between the two layers to create a clipping mask. This will make this texture layer only visible on our text. Transform the texture to give it a little variation in size. So now you need to make the text stand out and look like a stitched piece of denim. This can be achieved with layer styles. First things first, add a drop shadow by double-clicking on the text layer, then go to Drop Shadow. The drop shadow will be added in two stages. The first one is going to be a small distance shadow, so reduce the size and increase the opacity to about 80%. The distance is fairly small for the first stage, and you will want to make sure it's nice and smooth. Next, the second pass of drop shadow will be added. Click on the plus icon here and that will add a second layer. This feature came with Photoshop CC 2015.5. If you have an older version of Photoshop, you simply need to duplicate the layer. For the second layer style, increase the size, the distance, and reduce the opacity. By doing that, you get a nice transition shadow that looks more like a realistic shadow. The last thing you need is to add a highlight to the top of the text, and that's by adding a bevel and emboss. Start with a relatively small depth. Make sure to choose Inner Bevel, Direction Up, then bring down the size quite a bit. That will give you a nice highlight on the text. This finishes up on creating the denim text effect. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to add stitching to the text to give it an even more realistic effect.